Right, hey guys, it's Weston here. So today I'm going to be taking all the rumours surrounding the OnePlus 3 and I'm going to be putting them all in one place so you guys can get a good idea of what we could potentially expect with OnePlus's latest device. Now all the source information will be linked down in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. But they're all pretty clear on some things and some are saying other things, and you know what they're like at this stage. Nothing is set in stone. So anyway, I'm just going to give you a couple of samples of what I've actually seen from these different websites, and we're going to put a list together and we're going to get an idea of what this phone actually looks like. So the first thing that really grabbed my attention is this could potentially have Oppo's VOOC fast charging. So that means that potentially this phone could charge much quicker than any other previous OnePlus device. I think that is really good because Oppo's technology is fantastic, and if you've experienced it you'll know all too well that it charges really quickly, so that is a definite good thing, and I hope they do actually include that in this device. So the next rumour I've sort of seen is this is going to be running Android 6.0. Now more than likely it will get updated to Android N when that's actually fully released, but for now it's going to be running Android 6.0, which is not a bad thing because Android 6.0 is fantastic. Like OnePlus do with all their other phones, it's probably going to be running their OS on top of Android 6.0, so it's not actually going to be stock Android, and it's going to have OnePlus's little tweaks on it, but that's what it's going to be running at release date. Apparently, I mean, according to these sources. Now we get onto the specifications, and these are actually pretty consistent amongst all the sites I've actually looked at. So the first one, it's going to be having a 1080p display, so that's full HD. It's going to be 5.5 inches like the OnePlus 2, and it's also going to be an AMOLED display as well. Now, with OnePlus stating that this is a flagship killer, not having a 1440p display might not sort of support that, but it's early days, so we don't actually know if it's going to have 1080p or if it's going to have 1440p, or if there's going to be two models, one 1080, one 1440. We don't know yet. So now we get onto the actual raw specifications. So this is going to be having a Snapdragon 820, an Adreno 530 GPU, 4GB of RAM for the 32GB model, and 6GB of RAM for the 64GB model. So there's going to be two variations, two, in theory, very powerful variations of this device. Now, obviously the 6GB one is going to be more expensive, and I think 6GB on a phone is actually quite ridiculous in my opinion, but they might have found a way to make it work. So yeah, we'll have to see. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it performs in comparison to all the other devices with just 4GB of RAM. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. So the next big sort of leaks have come in the camera department. So this is going to be having a Sony sensor. It's 16 megapixels, and we know with Sony sensors people can actually get some really stunning images out of these. Sony don't seem to be doing it very well for themselves, but all the other companies that use Sony sensors seem to be getting some really impressive shots out of this sensor. We also could be potentially seeing the return of 4K as well, so that's a big thing, and we're going to be needing that 64GB of storage if it can actually shoot 4K. The storage, I forgot to mention, is also expandable as well, so it's going to have micro SD expansion. We could potentially be in up to 128GB in capacity, so that is pretty impressive for those that like to shoot a lot of photos and shoot a lot of 4K video, and also have a lot of apps and music and stuff on their devices, so that is definitely a big thumbs up there. So the next big thing I saw is the battery life and a couple of other features. These are, like I said, a little bit sort of scarce between each source, but a couple of cool things that I have seen. So one of those is a 3500 mAh battery, which with its specifications I think it's going to need. And if it's only got a 1080p panel, that 3500 mAh is actually going to be a pretty good thing, and that's going to mean some pretty awesome battery life. And if it has that VOOC fast charging as well, it's going to be charging really quickly, and you're going to be able to get quite a lot of use out of it. So maybe a 1080p panel won't be necessarily a bad thing in terms of battery life. So the next sort of things I've seen, and I would like to actually see, is NFC. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people don't actually use NFC, but with contact payments coming in, it might actually not be a bad thing for OnePlus to install it. It's also potentially having a fingerprint scanner, so whether it'll be on the front of the phone, on the back, not 100% sure on that. And it's also supposedly having USB Type-C as well. So yeah, that is pretty much all the things that I've found out for myself. And like I said, all the information and all the sources are down in the description if you want to check them out for yourself. So what do you think then? Do you think this phone is actually going to be like it says, or do you think it's going to be better or potentially worse? I'd love to hear your feedback and comments in the comment section. So yeah, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all on the very next one.